No, Jen. You are the demons. And then Jen was a fair eye. More Primal. Let's pick up where we left off with new demon powers. And a cool new look. Honestly, I could go for more, like, mutation. Hearn looks way cooler than Transform Jen does. But, here's Transform Combat for you. Our right claw is like a very slow spinning attack. There it is. Whereas our left claw still is typically pretty fast. But all of our attacks are much slower now, which can make stun locking enemies more difficult. Sometimes it actually is better to be a human for combat purposes, even though our individual attacks do way more damage now.
Jen, you should try leaping up here in Fair-Eye form.
No experimentation required. We just jump right to our new powers. And I do mean jump.
Bouncy.
A bouncy jump. The wall is slightly too broken for Scree to climb it. So it's all up to us. The architecture of this makes no sense, but is technically functional anyway. Scree is gonna break a rock.
Certain stones in Oblivion are highly charged with the essence of the land. By crushing them, I am able to harvest this energy. I believe it will be of use to us. More specifically, to you.
How so?
I'm able to absorb the energy that you will need to maintain strength in your demon forms. I can also drain this energy from the corpses of your foes.
A bit morbid.
Yes, well, I'm sure you'll come to thank me for it. You know you can summon demon energy from me whenever you need it, okay?
That's the kind of support you need from your friends. No, you can always rely on me. Summon demon energy from me when you need it. The sign of a true friend. Can I do some summoning now? Yeah, here we go. A little bit of demon energy. I got poked by the enemy that I fought earlier. So at any time I can hold left on the D-pad. And if Scree has demon energy and I have some of my health bar missing, I will suck it right out of him. Refill my HP. Good stuff. That's teamwork for you. The Scree doesn't fight, so... I like how the enemies, they like keep fighting, and then when their health bar falls out, they brace themselves to keep fighting, and then they just fall over dead. They realize they're dead. They have a Wile E. Coyote realization of their own demise. I don't know why the skunk stripe demons are the most powerful ones. Not powerful enough, though. As noted, the combat is pretty terrible. It's just hitting the left and right triggers over and over again. Not a ton of animations even available for it. There are some combos, and I guess I should probably try and figure out how to do those combos consistently, but they're not really necessary. Hammering buttons is just as functional. The Hunt Camp, where they have these chocobo that make dragon sounds, and they hunt antelope. But like, antelope with very wide muzzles, so there's fantasy antelope, which is an available screen name if you need it. Fantasy antelope, not half bad.
Duim gasus hokeag Joanna bin and Shedi vade yard ball of Kabakumid. Henda Vitvan Sepuk Shakri Pervin in Bari Koyoskak.
We stumbled upon a boring lecture. Lucky us.
Vonod lirak bol eos hani. Lin really eos va bolgalcitos. Lin really eos trapolin. Lin really eos binan bolsidi. Lin really eos va bolgalcitos. Lin really eos tapolin. Lin really eos binan bolsidi. Two are come.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
Velboft eosotrilakrun.
No further. Do they know they approach the sacred grounds? Doubtless you are right.
We saw your fire, that's all.
We're kinda asking everyone. Have you seen Prince Jared? We're trying to find him.
Spirit! A spirit walking with, well, why don't you ask him?
I guess you haven't seen him then, huh?
Nobody approaches the sacred necropolis. Even princes, be warned. Keep away.
We must travel no further. The necropolis is sacred to the Ferai.
Scree. Duh! Jared's vanished. Of course he'd never be seen in a place where nobody ever goes. We've got to check it out.
I do appreciate that line of logic. We have been forbidden by this weirdo. We have a pseudo first-person view, by the way. It's kind of hard to use. Analog sticks being as imprecise as they are. But I do like this guy's four-horned look. You ever see those goats with four horns? Pretty goddamn metal.
Balrapin bik visvat.
Balrapin, Trelli Nawa Viak Hurgod.
Scree, tell him it's okay. We've just eaten.
But we haven't.
Just say I'm a vegetarian then.
Enojeska kun. I don't think they have a word for that, Jen.
Hey! What's with Fido?
Duende mot venner perk di ramul hurg verman sort.
What'd he say?
He was complimenting you on your odor.
You mean my perfume?
Yes, that's it.
Well, it's been fun, guys, but come on, Scree, let's bail.
Also rather creepy. And we didn't even do that in Ferai form. Just creeping on humans now. I do appreciate the subtitler of this game and the tremendous task they had at phonetically spelling all of this nonsense language. Whoever wrote the nonsense language did a pretty good job, too. It feels language-esque. It has the cadence of a language, despite being, I assume, made up whole cloth on the spot. Anytime the demon tongue needed to be spoken? Speaked. We'll say speaked. The least likely to be correct tense and verb usage. Ignore the enemies. Who needs them? They're just bothering me. They're trying to stop us from going to the sacred necropolis. They'll never stop us from reaching the necropolis. That's my motto. Lodestone.
I'll need Scree to help me with this.
We're gonna skip that lodestone. I think we have a bit of an excess right now, so we'll let that one be well defended by these excellent guards who just sort of stand around near a gate, doing very little as I run past. But here we have a sniper. We're gonna want to kill this sniper. It's not gonna be easy. Okay, parries. I think think there's supposed to be a tooltip about parries. The game might have actually showed me that tooltip already. And these enemies had to be killed with a finishing move. That's actually why the weaker enemies have like a stun animation moments before they die. They're awaiting a finishing move that is not necessary, but these ones, we do have to do the finishing move. I think he just stabbed Scree there. Perhaps accidentally. Okay. Let's do a parry. Lock-ons are automatic. And the camera does a good job of being cinematic while we're locked on. That, unfortunately, is one of the most violent animations in the game. This is an M-rated game, but not very much violence, and very, very little gore. Kinda disappointing in that sense, considering that I like to compare this game to both Splatterhouse and The Darkness, both of which are ridiculously violent games. I wish this game at least attempted to match their violence. Not every game needs to be that violent, but if you're going M-rated, might as well go all the way, I think. This guy is beating the hell out of me. Trying to parry him. The timing on a parry is typically pretty easy. Break free, because he's doing his job too well. Gonna head over here. I can see my tattoo and my van braces flashing wildly to indicate I'm about to die. You don't die, though. You transform back into a human. The human is slightly worse at combat. So that guy's not going to leave the door. He is a puzzle. Because we need him away from the door in order to open the door. So he's required combat. We'll get back to him and combat him shortly. There's a guy. Is that the shield guy? Yeah. Well, he left his post, so screw him. Right, Scree? So,
I need 2 more loads.
this statue can be manipulated. I am short 2 lodestones. I do love that the guard is, like, stuck behind a wall now. See you in hell, guard. I think just seeing this allows us to activate it. Yeah, it looks like it. There's another lodestone. Some more energy pods. I might have to go back. Get the one I abandoned earlier. That might be why the rift gate is here, so you can teleport over to where you need to be. If you have not caught every single lodestone in the game thus far. Gotta appreciate Scree's footprints and handprints in the snow. 2003, that's pretty good. Hilarious that they would put a rift gate like 200 feet away from a rift gate, like within line of sight from a second rift gate. Kind of wish I had control over Jen, that I could tell her to wait here while I head back, get that lodestone, because now Jen's gonna get caught. Combat forever. We'll be back to the necropolis shortly. Just gotta head back across the... I think just the archway. No, I don't even. I don't have to aggro anybody. Jen, however, I think will be bloodthirsty. She might pick a fight where none is necessary. Yeah, she's not doing that. Good. Good on you, Jen, controlling your violent urges. We'll take this torch, because we can. I do think the shield guy might have gotten back to his post. Yeah. Well, it's to be expected. Let's kill him. The shield work leaves a lot to be desired. He doesn't have a lot of self-preservation instincts. But he is abnormally hard to parry. His tells aren't great. And for some reason, the window on when we are allowed to parry him is shorter than others. And there's another lodestone. I didn't have to go back anyway. I do appreciate this game. I love it a lot. But I have compared it to many other games to which it is somewhat derivative. I mean, it still has a lot of creativity in it. But we've compared it to Dark Souls. Dark Souls is more creative than this game. Dark Souls is also one of the best games ever made, so it's an extreme comparison. But a, you know, worthy comparison nonetheless. I do constantly search desperately for games that have this much uniqueness, weirdness.
It looks like there's something missing from the lock.
I value creativity as much as anyone else. And I do admit I have a hard time finding them. But they're definitely still out there. I just got myself a PS4. My partner gave me their hand-me-down PS4. And I am very excited to start messing around with it. And yet, here I am, playing this PS2 game on a PS3 console. Yeah, original IPs are kind of a dead idea. That is unfortunate. You've got a point there. That is very much what Primal was when it came out. These days, you might get a game like this, but it would be a spin-off or a sequel or something. It is much harder to get a unique, brand new idea with this much attention and production value. Which is how you get the IPs that then lead to a trillion sequels. When will they learn? We need new IPs so that we can get more boring, redundant sequels that you can milk eternally.
Listen up. I'm sorry, but there's something you need to know.
She will speak.
That sacred place of yours isn't quite so off limits as you think. It's crawling with people.
Jen, allow me to handle this. Sir, the necropolis, we have evidence of Ferai presence there. Guards, archers.
It's what I said.
You have dared to set your dirty feet there?
My companion here lost her bearings and,
The point is, they are there. You know about that? What are they doing?
It is a sacrilege!
I'd say they're there for a purpose. They're using the cover of sacred land, guarded by yourself here, warning people off as a hideaway. And the one who is hidden is Jared.
Stop!
Now, continue.
Sir, The only path to sanctity, the kingdom's survival, is for Jared to be found, and then Hearn will be able to relinquish his throne. We need to explore the necropolis.
No one passes this.
We're asking your blessing.
Meanwhile, there are soldiers stamping all over that hallowed place.
Stamping with their dirty feet.
Yes, and we're willing to get them out of there.
No more. You have my blessing. In these accursed days, we look beyond our first desires. Well, for the spirit. If you are to enter the necropolis, you will need this.
Specific curtsy animation. Just for gem acquisition celebration. And now we go back where we came. This is a sort of tedious fetch quest, but honestly, that's going to be sort of the theme of this part of the playthrough. At least it's scored by heavy metal music. It's kind of funny. What we're doing right now is gaining the trust of the Fair people. And how we're doing that is killing a bunch of them and ignoring their sacred decree so as to profane their hallowed ground. That is exactly what we are doing, what we have done, and what we will continue to do. We eventually got permission for it, but first we were doing it against their wishes explicitly. You'd think there would be consequences for that. There are not. If we had gone the exact wrong direction, which is what the game wants us to do after we got our Fair Eye powers, it said, do that jump that you saw in that cutscene. Because you can now, you're a big jumper. If we had done that, we would have gone the wrong way for a very long time. And at the end of that path, we would have come to a person at a door who said, you're not allowed to come here, not without explicit permission from Hearn. So we are here to gain Fair Eye trust and thereby get Hearn's permission. But it would have been a waste of time to go that way. Just to get someone to yell at us. Say, nobody gets to see the wizard. No way, no how. I am perhaps making this playthrough too efficient, which makes an even greater percentage of cutscenes to gameplay. This guy is going to continue guarding that door, and that door is impassable, so even if we get him out of the way, it will be a waste of our time. This guy, however, we need out of the way before we can open that door. Because we've seen doors like this before. It's funny, I keep doing the parry and taking damage in the process. The parry is supposed to be your reward for a perfect lock. It's not working out that way. Drain some power from the little guy. But yeah, some of the pacing and mood of this game is reliant on you exploring for optional content and stuff. And also intentionally going the wrong way. Like, you were supposed to head into the city, where you would simply find a dead end. It's how you get a unique cutscene.
This thing weighs a ton. I might need your help here.
Instead of that, we just intuited to go to a better location, quite frankly. Gonna drain you again. At about half health. Anything of value in here? Sometimes breakable objects will include not lodestones, but like caches of energy. They're just shipping energy in their barrels and their pots. And Scree can steal it and pass it on to us. You can also block parries. So even after we get parried, you can't avoid the punishment. And the enemies can do the same, naturally. Really perform better when I just hammer the attack button over and over again, though. Like, he's practically stun locked here. And he's got a tougher friend right behind him, so... guess I should be careful. If I lose all my HP, I revert to a human. And the human is also just fine in combat. So that's not too bad. Here's a new thing. A crystal. Energy gems will completely restore Jen's demon energy. A gem is automatically used when all the energy is lost. So it's a 1-up. We have a 1-up now. Crush some rocks. Even though you get a lot of energy from it, it takes so long. This animation is so slow that it might overall be slower than draining corpses. But I'll try and protect that 1-up until it's an emergency. Oh, hello. You're not even the right shield guy. I don't know where you came from. Trying to get behind him. But he, of course, put his back against the wall. Honestly, a good strat. Go for it. Take a swing. Okay, he's asleep. I can't even hurt him. So you stay there. That's what you want to do with your life. 'Cause even when this guy blocks, he still takes a lot of damage. Until now. Now he's doing the good block. But he's dead. If you start a finishing move in the middle of an animation, it does not interrupt that animation. Therefore, the finishing move does not go off. And sometimes that will take too long, the animation you're stuck in, and the enemy will recover and no longer be finishable.
This thing weighs a ton. I might need your help here.
We've seen these things before. They could have done a better job locking up their very important prisoner. The IP.
Hey there.
Spirit, come back. We see any door the city.
Jared, is that you?
What have they done to him?
Your father has been wild with despair.
My father.
Take it easy. Come on, let me get these chains off you.
What happened to you?
On a hunt some moons ago, I was attacked by that fiend who sits at my father's right hand.
Who do you mean?
Captured, tortured, chained here ever since. Forced to listen as she came back and told me of each new act of wickedness she'd inflicted on my people. Each trick she played to inflame my father's misery.
What? Wait up. Davina did this to you? Your own mother?
No! Not my mother. That thing that calls itself Davina. That lies down with my father, set on choking up my bloodline. Bringing this realm to its knees. That thing is an imposter. A shape shifter, not born of this land.
Highness, How can you be so sure when even your father, the king, suspects nothing?
She couldn't resist telling me. Smiled and said my mother lay in a chamber nearby. This imposter often goes there. I've heard chanting. Terrible noises.
Well, let's go and see if we can get in there then.
She's no fool. It'll be locked.
Ah, fine. I was only...
And the key, Highness?
If it's anywhere, the key may be in her rooms at my father's fortress. Yes, she suddenly took to keeping her rooms heavily guarded just before I was abducted. Now, if we... You must help me. This imposter must be revealed. If I only had strength, we have to.
Save your strength, Highness. It is best that no one knows that we have discovered you here. Rest now while we find this key.
Yeah, and make him think I haven't untied you.
My friend, I am truly grateful for your help. I can sense your strength, even if you do not have a look of a warrior.
You wouldn't say that if you'd seen her earlier.
Okay then, Scree, let's head for the fortress.
Please, take this talisman. It will prove your worth to my countrymen.
We will return. Looks like you found an admirer.
Button it, Scree. We got a fortress to raid.
Bree's first thought is, ooh, someone's got a boyfriend. Screw you, Scree, you suck. Also, the, shield guy ran in during the cutscene. That should not have happened, but the shield guy shouldn't have been alive. Nor should he have been down here in the basement. Give me the power, Scree. Thank you. Jared's gonna stay in his torture chamber. But unlocked. And apparently there never was a, king-queen rivalry for the power over the Fair Eye. It was a shapeshifter all along. Maybe. Maybe that is the real Devara. Probably not, though. Jared seems pretty insistent.
Guess we better move it, fella. It's a long way back to the city.
Then I suggest we take the easy way, Jen, the Rift Gate. We don't want you arriving there exhausted.
Me?
So that's the main reason the Rift Gate is here. So we can teleport back to where we need to go. They've only told us to go to the city, which is not enough information. But we haven't used the Rift Gate yet, I don't think. We've just been activating them everywhere we went. We actually want to go back to the Great Temple. Because, for some reason, where we want to go is the Colosseum. They told us to go to the city, but the Colosseum is our goal. And Divana's Courtyard appears to be our final goal for this section of the game. So, now I have to hammer the X button to spin these wheels as fast as possible. Also, the screen's going to get very, very, very bright, so maybe look away if you need to. It's excessive. But there we go. We're through the Rift Gate. No more brightness. Now back to extreme darkness. Maybe this game being so dark is what makes it seem so bright. This is by no means the darkest adventure game I played. Far from it. But it is pretty damn dark. Oh, monsters. Let's kill them very easily. I don't even need to, I can just walk away. I know exactly where I want to go. But these are the easy monsters, so... Easy being relative. I really feel like we should do a lot more damage per swing. This is not worthy of the metal soundtrack. Not until we get more powerful, which... This isn't really an RPG, so I don't know how much more powerful we're gonna get. beautiful full moon. Because every single video game must take place at night. And that night must be during a full moon.
In your new form, I'm sure you'd be capable of that jump we saw those Ferrite.
Yeah. She didn't say bouncy this time. What a waste. There we go. Drop down hotspot. And open the door for Scree. But yeah, every single video game takes place on a full moon, which is hilarious to consider. Because full moons are like once a month. Basically, 1 in 30 days is a full moon. And yet, every video game you've ever played has taken place on that exact day of that month. That has a lower probability of being the case than rolling a natural 20 every single time you roll a die 20. And people seem to think rolling a 20 is like the most apocalyptic, world-changing thing that can possibly occur. Which is why you consistently chop off the goblin's head every time you do it. And yet no one bats an eye at constant full moons. I think these are enemies I can also run away from. And we can switch our lock on. The guy with the red hood has higher HP than this guy. And is usually more defensive. So it probably would have been smart to kill this guy first, because it's easier. But this guy didn't bother me at all while I was killing the red hood guy. So, just as well. We're in the plaza. Did Scree join me? Where the hell's Scree? I'm gonna do this manually. So I can switch perspectives at any time. Yeah, he got stuck on a wall. So close to the door, too. We weren't actually that far back. Just being near the energy just flings it into our body, which is cool. And this is indeed the plaza. The city has seen much better days. It's honestly a little too dilapidated, because it is still like an active city.
Jen, this is an energy fountain. I can draw vital energies from it. Vital to your survival.
Okay.
Just do it. This is an infinite energy generator. So, might as well fill up. Both of our protagonists. Jen's at full health. And Scree is at full energy. Fills up really fast, too. Like, draining corpses is a very slow process. Yet just the tiniest little pip for a very long animation. Okay, there's another shieldsman. Swerve around him so that Jen doesn't aggro on him. I don't worry about what he's trying to do. His business does not concern me. That gate is definitely too big to be moved by us. Another resurrection crystal. Get all the one-ups you can. Oh, enemy. It's the easy one, though. Didn't even swing at us. Real missed opportunity that there are more kill animations. And more gruesome kill animations at that. Like, if there were only 2, but they were both really good, that would be one thing. There are only 2, as far as I can tell, for this character form. And they're both, like, some random slashes with a little bit of blood spurting. Unimpressive.
We'll show him the talisman Jared gave us.
Gili inopiab, ubgasa duend.
Hijua piab.
Dukaskon.
Dankeschön. This is the guy who would have not let us pass if we hadn't done that whole side quest in the necropolis and met Jared. So you are supposed to come all this way out here, which isn't that bad of a walk, but there is no rift gate here, so you can't teleport back out. Then you gotta walk all the way back around to get to the necropolis again. And in here, people are just huddled around a fire. Some pigs. In addition to the antelopes, they have a varied diet, despite the fact that they only eat meat and do not have a word for vegetarian. Let's see. The layout here is a bit difficult to parse. I think I'm on the right track now. Careful. That looks like a gate I should be able to push down. Using teamwork. Gotta eat these lodestones. They're so shiny, they must be delicious. We'll have to control a statue eventually. Want to do as little lodestone grinding as we possibly can when we get to that point.
This on my own.
Kick the door down. Jen's not any stronger as a demon. She just has stronger legs. You'd think that would help push doors down. Hooray, the sewer level. We did it. Jen's gonna kill those guys. I can't stop her. Let's see how the AI fares, actually. I'm gonna head up here. Jen can climb that ladder, but she cannot climb this wall the way I can. The suffering is fantastic. One of my... Well, I played it recently, and I was very impressed by it. The latter quarter or so sort of falls apart. But the vast majority of that game is very, very good. I've been told the sequel is a much more mixed bag, tending towards the negative. Jen's doing just fine. So here's a broken ladder that Jen can't climb, but I can. You'd think she'd be able to jump over it because she has super jump legs. She cannot. This path is impenetrable to Jen. So we need to go it alone while she fights enemies and hopefully doesn't die. She's not doing the best job in the world. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the Suffering, The Ties That Bind, the sequel. We're out of the sewers and into the torture chamber. Lucky us. Oh, also, if you want to watch my Suffering playthrough, here's a plug. It is on my Twitch channel. I did archive the VODs. Hey, maybe I'll even link the one video that I uploaded to YouTube so that people can enjoy that. Talk about a game that's right up my alley, though. All my complaints about lack of violence here, Suffering makes up for that. So many lodestones. Oh, top floor of the jail. Appropriate that the suffering came up right as we entered the jail. I really hope this music doesn't get me, like, copyright strikes, because it's awesome. Since I, refuse to end the combat in an expedient manner, we get to hear a lot of the music.
I'm not going any further without Jen.
All right. This constitutes something of a puzzle. We need Jen here. Jen cannot climb the ladder. So, how do we get Jen here? Well, we keep exploring. The music starts again. Hopefully that's not a bad thing. How is Jen still fighting? This is ridiculous. You're supposed to be better at this, Jen. So we get a statue of guy killing another guy. The Farai betrayals and civil wars apparently are well documented throughout history. We see a rift gate. Seeing a rift gate is all it takes to activate it. Now we can fast travel to this place. However, the nearest fast travel gate is all the way back at the Great Temple. So, if we had taken the correct path and gone from the Great Temple to the city, to the locked door that the guy won't let us through, we then would have had to return to the Great Temple, to go around the backside, to climb over the wall, to go to the hunt camp, to solve that fetch quest where you have to go back and forth 4 times, I think? Just to meet Jared and get the little amulet. And that is the key to come back to the city. To unlock the door. To get into the sewer. To find the rift gate. To go back to the temple. I don't know why this is so padded. The pace of the first segment was really, really good up until you get the transformation. And they could have just kept that pace. All this backtracking doesn't help the game in any way. Just makes it worse. Jen is still fighting the same 2 enemies that we left her with. Neither of which needed to be killed, so off we go. The game itself wastes enough of our time. Oh, let's look at this slaughtered antelope, though. Stabbed with a spear. And a knife? Yeah, they knifed this antelope. That means they, like, didn't throw the spear. They, like, chased it down. Got really, really close. Dagger stabbing range close. Ferocious hunters. No wonder they call them the Farai. But yeah, more backtracking. I warned you, backtracking would be the theme. So yeah, I'm a little underwhelmed by the kill animations, the transformation sequence, and this backtracking design being necessary. Still like the game a lot overall. But the transformation sequence specifically is a big letdown. Not that it's bad, it's just not nearly as intense as it could be. This is a big point in the favor of Altered Beast for the PS2 of all things. A notoriously terrible game that still has really, really good transformation sequences. And it better, because you have to watch the transformation sequences, like, constantly. But they are really good. I always appreciate a good transformation sequence. It's not a mark against this game, just a mark for Altered Beast and several other games that have good transformations. Let's see. If our friend has kept up with us... I don't like this load screen. It's all the way back here. Why? He was right behind me the whole time, and he got lost. This happens. Let's backtrack a third time. Fortunately, this will be the last backtracking for a good long while. But we're really gonna bask in it. Gonna send it off in style. By the way, there's a unique transformation for little Scree here. Check that out. He doesn't curl himself up like a crouching gargoyle. He stands there holding his torch. Like a proper wall sconce. I hope there's other things that Scree can wield and transform around in the future. Look at him waddle around. He's surprisingly fast for how stubby he is. And his animations for climbing up and down rocks is much faster than Jen's. He can really get around. I don't think Jen is any faster since she got super fair eye legs as well. So it's probably smart just to stay as Scree anytime you're not trying to force Jen to avoid combat. It's always funny when you're really far away from a character, because they will run to catch up with you, and their like AI-controlled running is 100 times faster than any running you can actually do yourself. It's very funny. It's like Benny Hill style speed animations. So we want to go to the Coliseum. We've seen that transport point. Oh yeah, I gotta hammer the X button. I don't know why this isn't just a cutscene, but it is bright again. Beware. The brightness has concluded. Back into darkness. And murder celebrations. Jen got real beat up, so let's steal our power back. Turn back to the little guy. Hello, Rear Dice. You have missed a very large proportion of the gameplay for Primal. But honestly, it was just table setting for a lot of obvious stuff. In many ways, you showed up at the perfect moment. So now we can go up this path. And this is a warning we've never seen before. Saving is blocked in the following section. Let's set up a safety save. Who knows why? What do we need to be safe from? Probably nothing. Save complete.
Wow.
It is rather grand, isn't it? The old kings would stage hunts here for the public, rituals as cruel as they were spectacular. Divina had always been opposed to the practice, and it was no surprise when it was outlawed after Hearn became High King.
Ooh, spooky. That statue reminds me of you somehow.
Ah, well, that's Abdizur. It's interesting that you mention it because...
Except he looks like a fearsome, impressive creature, and you, well, I mean, well, you're you.
Yes, well, as you say.
Just don't call him cool. We know how upset he gets.
You should not have come here.
Abaddon.
The runes are cast. Abdizur is lost. Why fight me, daughter?
you done with Lewis?
Run! You've seen Belazur's strength! Quickly, Jen, hide!
It's the frog beast that killed us in the real world. And he's trying to kill us again. We're not allowed to switch back to Jen right now. Frog beast cannot hurt us. Hi, frog beast. As we know, little guy's invincible. There was a hint at what we need to do in the cutscene. The smoke monster was actually really, really well done. Gotta give him credit for that. For a PS2 game, that was a distinctive look. And it looked like a really advanced 3D model. Because it was made out of lots and lots of very, very tiny 3D models. There are 5 crystals in this area. Because we need 5 to enter a statue. And they want to make sure you can't screw yourself out of being able to complete this segment of the game. Because the door locked behind us. No more lodestone grinding except within the Colosseum. We know what we need to do. We need to become big and imposing and hunky. Jen left that word out when she described the statue, but we know what she was thinking. There we go. We're gonna box the Frogman as a statue in our first boss fight. Just go back and forth, left hook, right hook. See what happens. I don't want to see what our parry's gonna be. There it is. It's just a punch in the face. The attack animations are just so limp. They really should be more violent. Because they're still indulgent, they just had the opportunity to be way more creative. I've never seen this happen before. But I don't hate it. This is clearly an emulation thing because I'm playing on PS3. That would not happen on your PS2 console. As we see, the production values are very strong. The dynamic camera for combat is really good, and it's too bad they don't have any awesome animations to show off with that dynamic camera. Right now I gotta dodge things blind, because I've got weird cylinders flying all over the place. But they're gone. Don't worry about it. I did do a test run of this very same boss fight, and the big gray cylinders did not happen. But they're happening now. I do like archiving weirdness on official releases. Sony is kind of a mess as far as like the big companies that make video games. Sony might be the single worst at it, despite being one of the most successful. The PS3 console specifically is a disaster. And they have many disasters to their name. Frog Beast is dead. Or is he?
Nice work, Scree.
Now that took me back.
That was the thing that jumped me and Lewis at the club. What was it?
That's Belazur, a demon of chaos, Abaddon's most lethal killer. Where he travels, pain and suffering will surely follow.
You seem to handle him quite well.
The mighty form of Abdazur was thankfully at hand. Abdazur and Belazur have fought many titanic battles.
Yeah? Well, you and the big man made a great team. Don't you think so, Rocky Boy?
Belazur is far from destroyed. I merely bought us some time.
The face in the smoke. It was talking to me, wasn't it?
You saw a shade of Abaddon.
He called me daughter.
And then he sent a monster to kill you. Abaddon is chaos, Jen. Don't let him wreak havoc in your mind.
I want Louis Scree. I need Louis to be here.
Right. We are both thinking too much, and both feeling sorry for ourselves. All we need to think about, my girl, is a way out of this arena.
Scree has decided not to be a giant badass anymore. Also, Belazur is the assassin of one of the most powerful beings in all of creation. And he failed to kill Jen, failed to kill Louis, and failed to kill Jen again just now. I don't think this Abaddon guy is that much of a threat.
Far too heavy, even for two of us.
He's also, like, the deity of chaos, so apparently this universe has never heard of, like, the concept of chaotic good, or lawful evil for that matter. I don't know, I don't like the order-chaos dichotomy in this game. But we got a lot of intrigue there. We met our assassin again, and shown him off. He'll be back, obviously. But Jen is the daughter of chaos. That's so metal, honestly. The door was too heavy, so we transformed out of our awesome form in the cutscene, only to transform right back in. And now we will play the rest of the game as Big Giant Mega Scree. I love it. This game just got 500 times better. There we go. The gate is no problem. But, unlike other gates, it does not stay in place when lifted. Our cool body needs to stay underneath the gate and hold it there for the rest of eternity. Otherwise, we won't be able to pass. So that's kind of disappointing. This is nowhere in particular. That seems like a good climactic finale for now, at least. We conquered the Colosseum in our first boss fight of Primal. Interesting game. This is like half of the first chapter, and there are many other chapters. There will be many more transformations. Whoosh. Give me my horns. And then we'll call it a day for Primal. Looking good, though, Jen. You've got your father's eyes, I bet. Thanks for joining me. See you Wednesdays and Fridays, probably, for more Primal. Till this sucker is wrapped up. I'm looking forward to it. I've been wanting to play this game for literally like 8 years. And I'm finally just getting to it. Love this wintry vibe. Join me again soon for more, and have a good one.